to you. And, you know, I like that one song, When I Was 64. I think I'll download that one.
All right, Rick Santelli, thanks very much to you. And Paul McCartney says it's going to be next year. One little sticking point, he says, and then they'll be available online. It's a significant story. All right, Madagascar is the world's fourth largest island. Now, top exports right now are vanilla and coffee, but it could be a great place for oil. Here now is our Alex Archila, CEO and president of Madagascar Oil. And Mr. Archila, pleasure to have you with us. You know, Madagascar is on my list of places I am so looking forward to visiting one day, but certainly you don't always think oil when you think Madagascar. How much is there?
Well, our engineers, Erin, think that we have about 17 billion barrels of heavy oil in place, approximately 10 billion barrels recoverable. So that's a very large, significant discovery.
All right, so 17 billion there, 10 billion recoverable. Let me just ask, how much of that is proven? You know it's there, as opposed to probable, you hope it's there?
It's all probable. The 10 billion are probable and possible resources, which means that we need to do a lot more engineering work to establish the commerciality of the discovery.
How big is that? Could you put it in context? Let's just say the 10 billion, let's go with that number, or the 17, either one. How big of a reserve pile would that be relative to, let's say, Canadian oil sands or Saudi Arabia, which currently has the world's largest oil reserves?
Right. Well, I think that the best benchmark is probably the mining projects in Canada. For example, Suncor and Syncrude are all in the range between 6 to 10 billion barrels recoverable. And these are mining projects that have been producing for 30, 40 years. Shell, Chevron, and Western Oil Sands have a project that's about 7 to 10 billion barrels recoverable. So this matches well with those very, very large projects.
All right, so when you say you need a lot more engineering work to figure out, you know, the probable and possible, how much you can actually get out of the ground, I mean, where is it? Is it deep water? I mean, does the technology exist right now to get that oil?
Exists. Yeah, it exists, Erin. It's more just defining it. What we need to do is core around the area. Right now, we have about 500 cores in wells in the Bemolanga discovery, and Madagascar Oil is scoring another 100 in 2008. So it's just an issue of definition. We are pretty certain that the oil is in the ground. The issue going forward is what is the best technology to develop it, and how do we implement it?
Right, and do you, as Madagascar Oil, have partners lined up to do that? I mean, is this something that you feel you can do, or you need more capital to get the actual, you know, the drilling facilities?
Absolutely. This is going to be a $5 to $10 billion project, like the Canadian projects. And yes, indeed, we are speaking to a selected group of potential partners.
Are any of them big oil?
Yes, they are.
All right, some of them are big oil. And I just want to ask you a quick question before we go. You had spent 24 years with Chevron Texaco, or Chevron and Texaco, right, that obviously come together. And now you went out and did Madagascar Oil a few years ago. So what made you leave big oil? What was it that was missing?
Well, that's a kind of a personal choice, but nothing necessarily missing. But the fact that I have a bullish view of the world economy and of oil and gas markets, and I think that higher prices are here to stay. And I was very excited when I saw the assets that Madagascar Oil has in its portfolio. Very, very large assets. We make this thing work. There's going to be a lot of benefit for the people of Madagascar. It's a country that's fairly poor. It needs infrastructure. Yes. So when you put all that combined, world-class assets, the opportunity to do something good here, well, I thought it was time to do something different.
Well, Mr. Archila, thanks very much for joining us. Very interesting. Appreciate your being with us.
My pleasure.
Jim Cramer is next.